How many times have you said you'll put tasks off until tomorrow? It's natural to do this when we need a break from a busy workload or just aren't feeling something that day. However, it becomes a concern when we do it day after day for things we once enjoyed doing. If this sounds like you right now, you might be in a mental rut. First, let me say I've been there and will probably be there again. That's just how these ruts work. But I also know from experience that it's possible to climb back out with gentle steps. So let's get started. Here are my 10 steps for how to get out of a rut. Number 1. Understand what you're feeling right now. I have to begin by talking about the difference between a mental rut and a depressive state. There are overlaps in how they manifest in our behavior and thoughts. A mental rut comes when we're bored with our current routine and lose the incentive to continue with it. But when we let things slide too far and begin neglecting too many areas of our lives over a long period, this is where we need to consider the possibility of depression. Remember, you can seek help and therapy from a professional at any point. If you feel you'll benefit from this, please look into your options and put your mental health before any efforts to get back into a productive work routine. Number 2. Take a day to switch off and reset. Now that you recognize your rut for what it is, don't rush into any manic plans to fix everything right away. Trust me, you'll only end up in a deeper state of burnout. Instead, it helps to take a mental health day and switch off for a while. A day off means you can switch your focus to pleasure, relaxation, and self-care. Stop thinking about things you aren't doing or what you perceive as failures. Instead, look at other areas you're neglecting to rebalance. Look at your social life, diet, general health care, and sleep. A change of scenery will do you a lot of good, so where do you want to be for a day? Do you want to go and visit someone you haven't seen for a while, go into the city for retail therapy, or maybe head to the shore for a bit? Take that well-earned rest, and then you can work on point 3 the following day. Number 3. Make a clear plan of what you want to achieve. After your day off, you can create a plan for the week and do so with a clearer mindset. Remember that gradual efforts lead to ongoing growth, which eventually means long-term gains and goal achievements. What can you do over the span of a week rather than in one single day? I also find that it also helps to change your routine in some way. Look into ways to make it more interesting or beneficial. For example, you may be more motivated to start your day by focusing on hobbies in the morning and work in the evening. Maybe you could freshen up your workstation or try new background playlists. Number 4. Focus on your wants, not your needs. It's harder to bring yourself out of a mental rut when you focus on all the things you need to do, such as your work, chores, and other responsibilities. This mindset brings a lot of pressure to succeed, and this can stop us in our tracks. Instead, I recommend focusing on what you want and why you're working so hard. The physical action we need to complete a task is difficult without enough motivation. It can be tough to find that motivation without enough inspiration. So, go write about your reason why and what you truly want. Watch videos about it and look at photos. Use that fuel to help you with your first actions. Number 5. Use small constructive actions to get the ball rolling. Learning how to get out of a rut means returning to activities and retraining your mind and body to get to their previous state. So, I urge you not to rush anything. Don't run before you've remembered how to walk. You need to basically talk yourself into doing something constructive. Anything. Go make your bed or something. The idea behind all this is that instead of relying purely on inspiration to motivate us into action, we can use small actions to inspire us and create the motivation to do more. This is effective, but sometimes we still need a little more to push us in the right direction. That is why I also recommend implementing the 2-minute rule. Number 6. Using the 2-minute rule. If you need something else to help you get up and started on your tasks, you could try the 2-minute rule. What I like about this one is that it bypasses the problem of motivation to a degree. You know that 2 minutes is no effort, so you just do it. It'll be over before you know it. The best thing about this is that you don't notice the effort, but you can see the benefit of getting started on something for 2 minutes. Also, each 2-minute session adds up to essential work towards a bigger goal. For example, 2 minutes spent reading one page can lead to a daily habit of a page per day, which will eventually lead to reading a whole book. Now, you might say you'll get nothing substantial done at that pace, but I'll come back to that issue later. Number 7. Don't forget to add rewards and breaks. You have to balance out your efforts with breaks and rewards. Otherwise, you're just going to push yourself too hard and your brain will rebel against you. Slow and steady wins the race. Go and do a task for 2 minutes, then reward yourself for doing it with something you enjoy. In my other video on tricking my brain into liking hard tasks, I talk about high dopamine highs from easy tasks. We need to balance our days between low dopamine essential tasks and high dopamine rewards to get the best from the day. So I recommend short breaks with these fulfilling activities while slowly climbing out of a rut. Also, these breaks are vital when you deal with the negative feelings that come from these mental ruts. That mental health day off I mentioned before isn't the only time to work on self-care. You still need to ensure you're eating and sleeping well, as well as taking those nature walks. And before going to the next step, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of more videos like this in the future. Number 8. Get your second day off to a good start. With your first day of the new schedule under your belt, you can get a good rest and then wake up energized to continue with your plan. Take your time on the morning of day 2 to evaluate day 1. Remember how it was and how it felt to achieve something. You did more than you expected, right? Well, this also means you're getting closer to your goals and back to who you were before the rut. Breathe that in and look ahead to the day in front of you. Now you go back over your goals and tasks for the day, knowing you can build on what you managed to achieve yesterday. Continue working on the 2-minute rule to build habits, while using other small constructive actions and rewards to get you through the essential tasks. Number 9. Review your efforts and progress. It's always a good idea to review your progress when learning how to get out of a rut. Try this after a week and see just how long you spend on tasks, hobbies, and long-term goals. Write about how much you've gained and how much you enjoy these new habits. Build that motivation to do more next week. When reviewing your progress over the week and your mental state, you may find that some habits are easier than others. The hobbies you love that you lost motivation for may be easier to turn into bigger activities without the 2-minute timer. Number 10. Appreciate when to move on from the 2-minute rule. This is where the 2-minute rule is doubly effective. You have rebuilt a habit with such ease that you wonder why you stop at 2 minutes. At this point, the rule has done its job and you can level up. So you just keep reading, playing, or learning until you're satisfied you've done enough. You are back to loving your hobbies again. However, other tasks like exercise and housework may require more gradual progress. If you need to stick with 2-minute timers, then that's fine. There's no magic formula that suits everyone. Just figure out your path at your pace. Eventually, you should be back to your old positive, motivated, and productive self. Whatever path you take, be gentle with yourself. Now, there are 2 final points I have to mention here. First, if this system doesn't seem to be doing much good after a few weeks of effort and there is still a lot of sadness and frustration, go talk to a professional. You may need to deal with underlying mental or physical health concerns. Second, there will come a point where you end up back in a rut. Maybe because this new routine becomes stale or something about the goals doesn't sit right anymore. You can always reevaluate and start this process again whenever you need to. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video and come back to it whenever you feel another mental rut developing. It doesn't matter how many times you need to use these tips, it will get easier. And now make sure to check out the next video where I show you how I trick my brain into liking hard tasks. And I talk about how to get high dopamine highs from easy tasks. Check it out now and see you in the next one.